probably the biggest story that happened this week was that Stan Sakai, creator of the comic USAGI YOJIMBO, is leaving Dark Horse with Usagi and going to IDW, and they'll be doing a new monthly series starting in June.
It's kind of interesting. Like, it's kind of awesome that he still holds the rights to that character and he can drag him around with him.
Yeah, I mean, like, Dark Horse is not the first licensor to get Usagi. Like, that comic was over at Mirage for a little bit, like, super in the early days.
Side TMNT character, right?
Yeah, he's like a spinoff.
Yeah. That's how I always knew him. I think I had a figure way back in the day.
And then, like, super early on, like, Fantagraphics was the publisher of those books, and then just landed at a Dark Horse. And it's Dark Horse and it's been at Dark Horse for all this time. And people are kind of like talking about how, within the last 2 years, 3 years, Dark Horse has lost Star Wars to Marvel. It recently lost Conan to Marvel.
Oof.
It lost Buffy and Firefly to Boom Studios. And I think there's but I think really, I mean, the Star Wars license is big, but I think it's like for like the comic space, I think like them losing Usagi is pretty substantial. Like, I think it's bigger. I think it's a bigger loss than Conan. I think it's a bigger loss than Buffy and a bigger loss than Firefly.
I would say of those, besides Usagi, like Buffy's probably the next biggest one. Like Firefly has like a decent, like it has a good following, like a very, very specific.
Yeah.
Like, Buffy's following has been around for forever.
Sure.
And they're like huge.
But I think like at Dark Horse, like there was a little, like,
those stories don't necessarily fit a Dark Horse as well.
It's not that they didn't fit, but there was a real the honeymoon is over kind of thing. I think when they started doing those Buffy comics with basically season 8, and like that was like huge. And then they did with like Brian K. Vaughan and Joss Whedon, and then Brad Meltzer came in and just ruined everything like he usually does. And basically just like kind of killed that license. Like our orders for Buffy like just took this steep nosedive once Twilight happened. Which was the Brad Meltzer storyline where Buffy
is that the fucking through mountains?
Yeah, Buffy and Angel fuck through a mountain.
Yeah.
They have
you
sex
guys told me about
in
that
the air
one
while flying, and then they fuck through a mountain.
That's a lot. That's a whole lot.
Because vampires are Superman.
Yeah. You gotta have that super sex.
But, and like the problem with like Usagi has kind of like always been like, I mean, it's like one of those books that like comics people know about, and like it's a book that's also just like kind of perfect for young readers because it's like, it has like all the things about like a young reader's book you would want kids to read, but it's just dangerous enough to where, kids think it's kind of cool. And it skirts that line like really well.
It's like TMNT. That's kind of like what that ended up being after a while, because it was like, oh, they're Ninja Turtles and they're teenagers and they're like doing stuff, but oh wait, this is super, super dark. Like, especially those like first couple of volumes are like pretty dark.
But like the biggest knock against Dark Horse as a comics publisher is just like they, for the life of them, cannot keep their shit in print. Like at any given point, like half of like Hellboy will always be out of print. The BPRD, Goon. Like Goon used to be part of Dark Horse, and now Goon's gone. But people aren't talking about that because Goon's not as big. But like there was like kind of a while Goon was a real hot property. And now Usagi, like half of that book would always just be out of print. And like those books would always go for like a at least like 25 to $100 a piece, and like you would never know like which ones would be in print anymore, or like when they would come back into print. Like 75% of Berserk is always out of print, and like Berserk could be like one of the biggest American mangas like going right now, but it won't be, because half of it's always out of print. And if you're gonna like read a 38 volume series, I don't know. I think it's like at 35 volumes right now.
It's a lot. Like I'm trying to do a read through right now, and it's hard to track down and hard to figure out where to start too.
Like it's like if volume 4 is out of print, why would I even start?
Yeah.
So
that speaks more to like them as a publisher having bad, either they're terrible at knowing how to put stuff out to like maintain a level for the marketplace, or whoever they're getting to make these things is just terrible and they're not changing like the printing service or their publication.
Mm-hmm. Like I was talking to a guy on Twitter who is super within the comic space, and I and he was like joking about like how he brought basically the same sentiment I did, and it's like some of this stuff will come back into print, but like who knows like when it does. And I joked with him and I'm like, hey man, like what about because he was like he was like, do not go out and buy like these books at a high cost. They will come back into print. Like just give it some time. It sucks, but don't pay like over the book price for some of these books. Now I'm like, hey man, what about Gunsmith Cats? Like, because I have like 2 volumes of Gunsmith Cats I'm missing, and those books are going for like 75 a piece. And I was like, are those gonna go back in print? He's like, man, probably not. I was like, well, shit.
Well, at least you got some closure on that to a degree.
Yeah. But like now the hope is that IDW puts out this new USAGI series, gives it real good shine. Like I think IDW's bread and butter is doing really well with properties. Like they're kind of killing it with Transformers and GI Joe and the My Little Pony stuff. And so it's like they know how to market this stuff, and like hopefully they can put out some really sweet new trades and get like a whole new line of readers for USAGI. Because I think that property is still has like fans to find in it, and I think people are gonna like I think a whole new audience is gonna find it.
Yeah, when it moves over, when they first publish an image, I'll probably pick up the first issue just to check it out. But it is like a character like I grew up with, and I completely forgot that I didn't even realize they were still putting out books for him.
Yeah, I know there's like over 200 issues of USAGI.
Yeah, didn't he appear in like one of the Turtles? Not the newest one, but the one before that, the CG one.
Yeah, he did.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the last news I heard of him. I do feel like Dark Horse is also like not the best at like letting people know what's up with their stuff.
Oh God, no! It's like they're like they have the Mob Psycho manga coming out right now, and they're like people who still don't know that manga is coming out. And like Mob Psycho season 2 is currently coming out. It's like the best anime coming out right now, and it's just like no one knows that the book is out. And it's like like what do you do?
Yeah, and then do you want to touch on the other story? Like I don't know this property, the Old Guard, but this is definitely interesting. I just finished watching Umbrella Academy, and I thought it was pretty good. I never read the book. It definitely got me interested in the book. So seeing Netflix grab onto more comic properties, which obviously they just finally canceled officially the last 2 Marvel shows.
Oh, we all knew that was coming.
Oh, yeah, that was coming for a long time.
We were just waiting for the other shoe to drop, so to speak.
But looking at this article he posted, the one casting thing is kind of a big casting for this show, or this movie.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, so I haven't read The Old Guard because it's like one of those things where like Rucka Image is it's a little hard for me to kind of get into at times because like I don't know when he'll kind of finish it.
Yeah, I was
like,
just looking at this. The last issue came out in 2017, and it says on the header, the next issue will come out in 2018.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like a lot of Rucka stuff I just kind of like wait for trade. But I've heard like very good things about it because I mean it's Greg Rucka. Like he's
See,
one
I
of the
don't
best
know this
comic
person,
book
so
writers.
like I just added the book to my cart, so I'll probably pick that up.
Yeah.
Greg Rucka also wrote like the Batwoman stuff, which is killer.
Okay.
He writes like a ton of like he wrote like some really good Batman.
He wrote it in I'm looking at his stuff. So he wrote in 52, which was not the new 52, but the previous thing where it was like a book a week.
Okay.
He wrote Batman No Man's Land, which is like very famous.
He wrote Stumptown for Oni Press, which also got picked up this week for a TV show.
Oh, cool.
It's about like a PI in Portland, Oregon, and it's going to be starring Colby Smulders from.
I love Kobe Smulders. How I Met Your Mother and Avengers. As the one agent that doesn't really show up.
He did Queen Country, which was like a huge book for him, like about a decade ago. Guy's great.
He did Gotham City Central, which is what Gotham the TV show should have been.
He did some of that.
Yeah, he has like some of like the best Batman books I'm seeing on here, and a ton of other like awesome things. Like he's definitely.
Don't forget the upcoming Lois Lane book.
Oh yeah, that's right. We talked about that.
Dude, week. I'm like super excited for that.
What's No Man's Land? That sounded cool.
That is isn't that when there's like the big earthquake that's made in Gotham? And there's like a whole
big catastrophe in Gotham. They basically no relief aid is coming in, and basically it's.
Think about like what they did at Dark Knight Rises, but like in a better written thing.
Everything's cut off, and the whole. It's mainly it's one of the best Batman stories.
Okay.
Dark Knight Returns or Dark Knight Rises is like way worse version of No Man's Land.
Yeah.
That's gnarly. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I can see they have 2 volumes and they're
I haven't read his Wonder Woman, but I've heard people like really love his Wonder Woman stuff.
I have to click on to see because
I read OMAC Project, which is he did Checkmate, which is like a super underrated book.
I was actually going to say I bought the first 5 issues of that digitally today.
Yeah, he did Final Crisis Revelations, which was just the bomb.
Well, all the Final Crisis and 52 stuff. Final Crisis was that's the Flash dying story, or is that the Supergirl?
No.
Final Crisis is Darkseid, and then
is it the bullet thing with Batman dying?
Yeah,
because basically
Final Crisis is rad.
Yeah, Final Crisis
is so good.
I think they have a sale on Final Crisis going on.
Because they're setting up. They're setting up Crisis on Infinite Earths for the CW stuff. Final Crisis is really wonky, but that's what led to some of the craziest shit DC did before New 52, where that's when Dick becomes Batman and Damian's his Robin, and then there's like a whole bunch of like all the different people try to become Batman. Like Jason is Batman.
Battle for the Cowl.
Yeah, Battle for the Cowl.
Battle for the Cowl. Wow.
Was that when Morrison was I think Morrison was writing.
No, that was Tony Daniel.
Okay, I thought Morrison was writing something at that point. For DC,
he was writing. Oh man, he was writing Batman and Robin because Battle for the Cowl happens, and that book kind of sucks. But like out of it, we got
the Dick, and he was writing the Dick and Damian combo, and that was really interesting.
Yeah, and then we also got Scott Snyder doing Detective Comics.
Yeah. And that's basically what changed all of DC.
Ooh, I really enjoy that because I've been reading a lot of his Batman recently.
Greg Rucka also did like a really great like Punisher run that's like that I said this like a couple of weeks ago, but it's like he did a really great Punisher run that's like kind of underrated.
Kind of underrated? Okay.
Like it was but I think it was like before Nathan Edmondson's run, and it was kind of cool. Like, I forgot like essentially kind of like what it was, but it was a run that didn't last very long. I think he only did like 12 issues or something, but they were doing some slight crossover stuff with like Daredevil and Spider-Man that I thought was kind of fun.
Okay. That sounds cool.
Yeah. Oh, Lazarus is the other Image book that he does that just is like, it started in 2013 and there's only like I want to say like 20 issues.
Oh, I just saw his Wonder Woman run. It's actually he's the one who did the Wonder Woman Rebirth when they first kicked off.
Yeah, him, Liam Sharp, and Nicholas Scott.
Yeah, it's where like they kind of did that like newer Cheetah where she's like an animal, but she got like something that made her like the avatar of like the goddess of the hunt. So it's not like the weird, it's like all magical stuff. Mm-hmm. And they like really embrace like the magical like part of Wonder Woman, which they've continued to do, which is why she's now part of Justice League Dark. But I really dig his stuff. I just hate when they do those books that never get done. Like the one that always pops in my mind is Powers, because it's just never going to be finished because they basically aren't going to go back to it.
Like Brian Michael Bendis' Powers?
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised they haven't announced like new powers at DC.
I know, but it's been like 3 years. I think since the last thing they put out, maybe even more.
Oh, I forgot. Probably the biggest news story dealing with comics for the week is that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse won Best Animated Picture.
Oh, totally. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes. One of the highlights. Well, the highlight, actually.
It deserved to win. I think I have not seen Ralph yet, and I have not seen... Lego Movie 2 was in there, because that just came out. Yeah. It was Ralph, Spider-Man, there was an anime...
Mirai.
And... What are the other ones?
Incredibles 2.
Oh, Incredibles. I have not seen Incredibles 2. I know it's on
I really liked Incredibles 2.
I did not like Incredibles 2, and I love Incredibles.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I also did not like... Amazing. I also did not like Wreck-It Ralph 2, so I was just like, oh man, like Disney's super down this year. Like Isle of Dogs is really good.
Oh, I loved Isle of Dogs. I forgot that was also nominated. That's like very different than the other movies.
I have mixed opinions on Isle.
And then like Mariah, like I haven't watched yet, but like that guy, the director is like he did Wolf's Children and Summer Wars and The Boy and His Bees. Oh. He's great. And I just haven't had like a time to be able to watch it because like I think I was doing convention the weekend they were playing it here in town.
Bummer.
But like I can't honestly fathom like it being as good as Into the Spider-Verse, because Into the Spider-Verse is like not only like the best superhero film to come out last year, but like possibly, like, I think to me is the best Spider-Man movie and possibly like one of like the top 10 best animated films I've ever seen. Like that, and like I'm like super excited for like in 5 years to see like how animators have been influenced by that movie, because I think that movie is just gonna like spawn like a bunch of like kind of cool copycats.
Yeah, we talked about it a little while ago, the rumors of the Batman Beyond. Like that that was one of the ones that like, oh, Warner Bros. Like, oh, we should get in on this. We have a character kind of like
which this. I saw was canceled. Like that was
I don't
like,
think it was ever officially like a thing.
Yeah, I think like that story broke, and then like people who were working on it came out and were like, yeah, like that was at the very early stage. Like that's not happening anymore.
That makes sense, but I would not be surprised if they brought it back in some sort of a way. Or like, I'm trying to think if DC kind of has their own anime thing, but going for that kind of teen market like this would be interesting. And
DC
I think
has
the
superior animated movies for sure.
Like I would love to see like this kind of a thing, but with like maybe like Blue Beetle, like the Jaime Reyes.
Mm-hmm.
They could do something with that, but I'm sure but like you said, there's gonna be a ton of copycat stuff.
Which I mean, I would rather see people try and ape Into the Spider-Verse than trying to ape, like, Illumination.
Yeah, no, that's a win for not just the industry, but people as a whole. Just unique art styles and like cool takes on a story.
Yeah, like, and not just like fresh takes, like the entire idea of that thing, which I think they've already said they're doing at least one sequel, if not two. So I think
they've got the one about Gwen, I think.
Yeah, they're going to do like an all-girl one, is what I've heard, and then probably like a sequel with Miles.
Well, yeah, and I think the female one with like Gwen and Silk and possibly like Jessica Drew.
Yeah, I think Jessica Drew. Well, I'm trying to think. There was like one or two other female spiders.
God, it'd be cool if they could like totally redeem Maddie Franklin.
Well, there's the redhead. We talked about this one time. There's like the redheaded spider. There's 3 Spider Women. There's
Julia Carpenter.
That's the redhead.
Blonde.
Blonde? I thought Carpenter was the redhead.
She could be redhead now. But there's Maddie Franklin, who was in Jessica Jones. And then there's Mayday. And then Mayday is the daughter of Peter Parker in like her own continuity.
Yeah, that's the one I was thinking of. She's like she's like not quite Spider-Man 2099, but it's like kind of similar-ish.
Just far enough in the future, I suppose.
Yeah, Julie Carpenter is the one I was thinking of. She's the one with like the kind of black spider suit. Yeah. Black and white.
Who's like currently Madam Web.
Yes. I think we talked about this for like a long time. At one point, all the different Spider-Women.
Yeah. I think so. I think that's one of the first things we did.
And most of them are like pretty rad in their own way.
Yes. All right, so why don't we do like a quick round of what we read this week, if there was anything stand outish. For me, there really wasn't much. I did read Naomi #2, which was like whatever. It wasn't whatever bad. It was just like not much was going on in the book.
It felt like by the end of it, like issues 1 and 2 could have been
one issue,
the first issue.
Yeah.
But like I thought it was good. There's like the 2 full-page spreads in that book. Like one where is it Superman fighting all the Flash villains?
Yeah, and then there was one that is some sort of weird like techno Game of Thrones thing.
Well, okay.
Which is definitely like it's her dream.
Well, and I think you're supposed to like assume that the one person that you see like kind of on the second page is Naomi's mother.
Yes, I agree with that.
But like I also think that like based off the outfits of those people in that book and based off of like the stuff that you see in Young Justice, I think her mom is a denizen of Gemworld.
Oh, that would be interesting.
But like I'm gonna go and like grab like this issue of Naomi real fast because I forgot to grab
I got mine next to me too. Besides that, I did read the issue 1 for the new Vertigo book, High Level. It is pretty interesting if you like that kind of it's like Mad Max, but like more advanced than that. Like it's kind of hard to describe. It's like it's not Earth. It's some post-apocalyptic thing, and there's like a little bit of religious stuff kind of in the background. But it's kind of this.
Told me about this one after we did Smallville.
Yeah, like I don't know how to even describe it. It's like this weird. Like there's like it's kind of similar to the world in Descender, where it's this kind of like techno. There's like technology going around, but it's still kind of like there's like a war in the background, but you don't see that. But there's like cyborg, like people have like augmentations to themselves. So if you like that kind of Blade Runner, it's like kind of Blade Runner-y, but also like a little bit with a little.
See, Blade Runner's my kink, so I'm gonna check that out.
Yeah. So the issue 1 came out last week. I picked it up. It was pretty cool. I think the art's really interesting. The main character's name is 13, and High Level refers to like some sort of like area in this world that like people live in, and then there are different rumors about it. Like some people think you go there to like kind of it's like a religious thing, and then you go and you're going to ascend. And other people like, yeah, it's just like this giant collective where they put you in suits and you do slave labor, and anybody who ascends never is seen again. So there's like all these rumors, and it kind of ends in this big like.
This is Descender, right?
No, this is High Level.
High Level. Okay, I'm gonna check out High Level right now. That sounds fucking sweet.
Under the Vertigo title, so the first issue just came out.
Okay,
John, did you grab your
sweet as shit
copy of Naomi yet?
I did. And
I'm looking
basically
at it right now too.
And I basically wanted to when I was reading through this and I got to that 2-page spread of Superman fighting, like he's holding the Weather Wizard and he's just zooming by and you see like Cold and Golden Glider and he's like uppercutting Girder and like on the side you see Boomerang, you see like Double Down. I was like, this double-page spread is rad. Like this
Trickster's
is
in
so
the background.
Cool. Yeah.
There's only a couple characters I don't know. I don't know who the girl on the bottom is and the like kind of see-through dude.
Yeah, I don't know who they are either. Has Double Down showed up in the Flash TV show?
He showed up on Arrow.
Oh, that's cool. That guy's got weird powers, man.
What does he do? Double Down?
No, if I'm not mistaken, Double Down is the one with the tattoos of the cards that he can take and.
Oh, he can like
rips them off his skin.
Oh yeah.
Oh, gross. That seems like a health and safety thing.
But they're like playing cards, and he throws them.
Oh, weird.
It is very. Yeah, I'm looking at this other thing. This could definitely be like Gemworld, but there's a dragon. It's very reminds me of Marvel's version of Asgard in like so many ways.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's like what we're supposed to infer is like she's like dreaming of Gemworld and like her mother like
is probably like the queen because she's in red. What appears to this woman. So would that be Ruby in Gemworld?
Man, I
don't remember all of the names.
But yeah, evidently like I kind of like half heard this, but I think like the book is going to like come out normally and then take like a month or two break in between arcs so they can keep the artists,
okay,
on the book.
That's not too terrible of a thing.
It's like, well, it's like the Image model, which is cool because I think the writing's fine. I think like the book hasn't really kicked into second gear yet, so we're like kind of like still kind of feeling it out. But Jamal Campbell is like killing it. Like,
I love the art in this book. It's gorgeous.
The 2-page spreads are like totally great.
Oh, I love like the last 2 pages. I think are gorgeous as well because they're very simple and they're dark, but they have such a great tone. Like especially the last page when the guy's holding the picture.
Yeah,
like he looks like the detail. Like I love his tattoos, like the way that they look. Because sometimes that comes off really terrible in like having a character with like tattoos. Like they're so small, like they have to be super detailed. It's super tedious, but like I love how this looks, like how it plays with the lighting. But yeah, the book is good. I just like you said, like this second issue was like kind of not much is happening.
Oddly enough, it also felt like the second issue of Young Justice, where I'm just like,
yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's like more setup. It's like okay. And I think that
who's the artist on Young Justice, by the way?
Patrick Gleason.
God, I just want him to draw everything.
Yeah, no, Patrick Gleason I think is super underrated. Like he did like Green Lantern Corps years ago that I thought was super rad.
He also did Batman and Robin with Pete Tomasi.
Yep, he also like just recently got done doing like Action Comics.
Superman.
Oh, Superman, yeah. I want to say he did like a New 52 book that I thought was super rad. But yeah, I think that's like a guy who.
Robin, son of Batman.
I didn't read that.
I might have read it at some point, but I don't like what they're doing with those characters.
But I honestly think he's like a really cool like artist that kind of doesn't. I feel like doesn't get a due, and I'm kind of glad to see him on like a book like Young Justice, and hopefully that does pretty well for him.
I cannot wait because I guess Dial H is coming out in the next couple of weeks, the first issue. So that will be the final part of so far of Wonder Comics. And so far, I think they've all done well. Like I finally read the Wonder Twins, and
what do you think of how they took care of the problem?
Oh, at the end, I thought it was hilarious. But the rest of the book, I was like, I'm not feeling it. And then that little part at the end, I was like, okay.
I felt like I think Batman like telling the story about how he embarrassed himself.
That was awesome.
And like Superman doing the same thing. I thought it was like pretty fun.
Yeah, I thought they were the worst part of the book.
Kind of, yeah. Like I think
it's the problem with those characters because like, what do you do? It's exactly like Superman's like they're changelings. He's like, oh, I'm like one could turn into animals. Okay, one could turn into forms of water. It's like, okay, so what do we do with these things?
But I think there was a couple jokes that didn't land for me in the way that like I kind of expect a lot of Mark Russell stuff. But I thought it was kind of funny, but also I was like, okay. But I thought it was like kind of charming in little ways, and I was like, I'm already on board. With Wonder Comics, so like I'll check out like
I guess
the first arc at least.
It's definitely the weakest of the Wonder Comics first issues.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, because Young Justice kind of came out of the gate kicking ass. I feel like Naomi did the same thing. And I'm trying to think if there's another one, or is that the third one?
That's the third one.
Yeah. So all those three,
Dial H is the fourth book.
I hope they expand this line. I hope it's selling well. Like, I'm enjoying it.
Yeah, I hope it's selling well too. Brian Michael Bendis seems to, be pretty pleased with it, and he talked about like people were asking if like Arrowette and other teenage heroes are going to join the book, and he's like, yeah, sure, I'd love to. And it's like really great that there's like a teen superhero book at DC that's like totally worth reading.
Yeah, well, especially they're canceling one of like Titans is already. I think there's like a one or two more issues coming out, and that one's done. But
Titans isn't a book about teenagers. Yeah. Titans is a book about like guys in their mid-20s.
Yeah, but Teen Titans is terrible.
Yeah.
So whoever wants to go, like, was there any?
I read a bunch of stuff.
Do you want to do like a quick list, and I guess maybe like one or kind of like I guess like one or two big things that like popped off for you?
Finished Return of Wolverine. It was short story. It was very dumb, but it was good. The art was good.
Is he back?
Oh my god! Tell me, I'm on the edge of my seat.
He's like, he's back, guys. He's back.
Oh, thank God! I was so worried after they killed him that he wouldn't come back.
Read Uncanny X-Men 11 and 12. Really enjoyed them.
I'm like hearing about this meme about X-Man like trying to get kids to stop like making out or something.
I've never heard this meme, but I really want to know it.
Is that like a thing that's either happening in Uncanny or in like because I have like 12 issues of Uncanny X-Men. I've just been piling up and I haven't been reading it because I was just like, because like once X-Man showed up, I was like, oh god, no.
I'm trying to find this meme.
I don't remember seeing anything about that. Could have been in issues.
I bet it's like Cyclops stopping people from making out.
It was something I saw Xavier Files talking about on Twitter. They do like an X-Men themed podcast.
The two books I started issue 1 of Secret Six.
Oh.
The best one.
Of that?
I really like it. I mean, the first one I read, or the first Secret Six or volume I read was the 2015 one.
Mm-hmm.
Where it was Catman, Elongated Man.
Oh yeah, that book is good.
Yeah.
With like Porcelain and the ventriloquist.
Yeah, and I liked how that Scandal, Ragdoll, they would show up time to time.
Yeah.
The two books I read recently that I really... Well, one was good, the other was really weird. I picked up two of the DC retroactive books, which was from the concept was getting like writers and artists who worked on certain books during different eras.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I read Green Arrow or Green Lantern 1970 by Denny O'Neil and Mike Grell, where it's an original story by the two, or set in that time period by the creators, and they throw in an old, like, a classic issue from that era.
Okay.
It was the Mike Grell art was good. There wasn't really much to say about the main or the first story, but the second story was the start of the Hard Traveling Heroes by Denny O'Neil and A.L. Adams.
Oh, that's the okay. Yeah, okay. Got it.
And the second one I read was The Flash 1970s, written by Cary Bates. And my god, it was weird. Flash finds out Flash he went to Gorilla City. Solivar told him that his powers, and he using his powers and everything, is making him sterile. Then you find out that Grodd took DNA from Iris and made a half human, half ape kid.
What?
Sorry. Can you say that one again? Because I thought I heard half human, half ape, and that is...
Yeah, no, you heard correctly.
Dumb. Oh, good. No, amazing. I'm going to add that book to my list right now.
So... And his, like...
So I just looked at the things that Joe posted.
Yeah, we'll talk about those. We'll talk about those like after Alan's done talking about his books.
Sorry, Alan. Sure.
Grodd's whole purpose, like whole point of doing this whole thing, is to expose how, like, to drive a wedge between Barry and Iris, and like exposing that Flash is Barry Allen. And it actually ends up becoming a very... You expect it to be really dumb and go to some weird places. It actually ends with the clone kidnapping Iris and kind of kicking Grodd's ass and sort of manipulates Barry and Grodd into fighting each other. And while they're fighting, he turns out he ends up, like, during the issue, he's rapidly aging. And it was sort of, it's a very Silver Age, because despite the whole issue, Grodd wanting to ruin Barry's life, he ends up saying something along the lines of, I'm happy I got to see my son happy before he died. And decides not to have the like report thing run. So he and Barry have some banter, like, once you get to wherever you're going, no truce. And it was just, that comic was better than 90% of what DC is doing. Because it's fucking batshit crazy.
Yeah, like, that's the whole reason I loved Metal so much, is because it was just so fucking stupid and great and, like, out there, and it's all about love and friendship at the end of the day. It's so campy. I love it. It's like a Danzig album. But I could read it and look at the pictures.
And it actually has... It's sort of... Like, it ends with Iris and Barry at a restaurant. Or at a Chinese restaurant. And fortune cookie. Like, Barry makes a comment saying, just because I didn't get here on time, of course I get a fortune cookie that reminds me I'm late. And says, a late hero who saves the universe is never forgotten. It was just something I really enjoyed.
Well, that sounds interesting. That's like the retrospectives that they're doing?
No, it was the retroactives that they did in, like, 2010, 2011.
Okay. Well, that sounds interesting. I've been trying to get into some of the older stuff, too, that I just passed by at some point, or was too young to read.
It is really good.
Oh, that's awesome. Can we talk about these pictures?
Yeah, yes. I want to talk about what I'm reading, but I want to talk about this even more. Oh my god.
Intrigued.
Is that the Blob with, like, a porn mustache?
Yes, dude, okay. I've been reading this interview. This is buck fucking wild.
Okay, so Leah Williams, I think is really cool. Like, she's done, like, a couple, like, here and there, like, one-shot issues for X-Men. Like, she did, like, an Emma Frost one that was, like, pretty cool. But she's, like, kind of laying the groundwork for having, like, a really cool 2019. And, you know, and to be fair, like, you know, again, as I said before, like, Nate Gray, X-Man, is, like, one of those characters where I just hear he shows up in a book and my, like, brain just kind of automatically turns off because I'm just, oh god, no, thank you.
Who is Nate Gray?
X-Man.
He's like, what is he? He's sort of Cable, but he's also not Cable.
He's Cable from the Age of Apocalypse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's like Cable if he didn't get the organic virus, the techno-organic virus. because he doesn't have the metal arm.
So forgive me if I'm not explaining this like too well, but like the Age of X-Man is like a different reality that's happening right now in the X-Men books, and they're having like a bunch of miniseries that are taking place in the Age of X-Man. And one of these books is written by Leah Williams, and it's called Age of X-Man Extremist. And the Newsarama article talking about this book, having an interview with Leah Williams, is titled Inside Age of X-Man's Horny Cop Gestapo with Extremist. And the opening paragraphs are: the Age of X-Man may seem like a utopia to some, but for others, it can be a nightmare, and all it could take you to turn into a mutant outlaw, a target of the, sex police known as Department X is falling in love. In Age of X-Men Extremist, writer Leah Williams and artist George Gianti will explore what happens when forbidden romance occurs between the people whose job is to prevent sexual and romantic relationships. Give this book to me. I'm picking it up tomorrow.
Yeah, no, I'm looking for this right now. I want this book so bad.
And evidently the book focuses on a relationship between Psylocke and the Blob, which is just...
I never would have expected that. Hell yes.
So this team, it looks like Psylocke, Blob, I'm guessing that's Jubilee, Iceman, and is that Namor?
Is Namor an X-Man?
Namor is the first Namor is the first mutant.
Yes.
I don't know these things. That's why I'm on this podcast.
So Namor's an Atlantean, but he's also a mutant.
Yeah, do you know what his mutant ability is?
He talks to fish?
No, he's got wing feet.
Yeah, the wings on his feet are his mutant ability.
He can fly.
Okay, sure. Why not?
I can't remember, but I love whenever somebody like rips them off in the comics. Just like it's like a horrible torture thing to just rip them off of him because they're literally like little bird wings on his feetsies.
That's adorable.
Yeah, and they pretty much have concluded to make Namor like the biggest dick in the Marvel universe. Next, like him and Cyclops.
Ooh, I do hate Cyclops.
But this is a ridiculous book, and
I don't know who the team on this book is. I'm trying to figure it out.
I'm
really liking the art too.
Well, the one is obviously Iceman, but like based on the glasses, I would say that's Jubilee.
Yeah.
I said Namor because of the ears in the one character.
Yeah, you can kind of see, like, if you look on the Newsarama interview, there's like a couple panels that you can take a look at, and that does look like what I think is Namor.
It's that other girl that I can't figure out. Maybe Shadowcat?
Yeah, I'm super not familiar with the X-Men, so this is all on you guys.
All right. So I guess while John's trying to figure that out,
Newsarama asks, you got quite a lineup for this team. How did you pick these particular characters, and what brings them together? Leah Williams: I wanted characters who would be coming into this already having experiences of forbidden or unconventional love, including queer identity. They don't form Department X of their own volition, as everything and everyone's roles in Age of X-Man were assigned to them by Nate Gray and in curating his utopia. And so while canonically it's his fault for putting a gay French Canadian anarchist on his horny cop Gestapo, that's conflict of interest is what's by design. I picked these team members because I saw them as the ones who we could really, really have a lot of fun with once they start fucking shit up.
So is it North Star?
Yeah, I guess so.
I guess that guy's not Namor. He's North Star.
That's the only gay French Canadian anarchist that I know of.
Like nobody uses North Star. He's literally just around because he's gay, like French Canadian character that they like prop out because he's what is he part of? He's not part of. Is he part of Alpha Flight?
You know, this person with the sunglasses could also be Sage.
Yeah, that's a character I don't know when you said.
You know, you really gotta give it to the X-Men team for putting just so many Canadians in there. It makes me feel really included in the universe.
I'm gonna pick this book up on my way to town tomorrow before I head to work.
I might have to check this out because this is ridiculous.
I'm an X-Men fan now.
Connor, what were some
There's nothing that gets me to buy a book faster than Horny Cop to Gestapo.
Yeah, no, dude. The cover says "Horny Cops." That's the best title I've ever heard of.
Oh, that's a.
I think that's a Photoshop.
That's a Photoshop.
I don't care. That's still a great goddamn cover. I wish that was real now. Damn.
The rest of it is real. It's just like those two things at the top are not.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. A boy can dream.
So Connor, what have you been reading recently?
I've been gone for a while, so I've had a lot of time to read stuff. I read all of Black Mirror, which was a ton of fun. That was recommended by you and John, I believe. The art in that was absolutely fantastic with Jock, and I'm gonna figure out who the other person is right now because
what book is this?
Black Mirror.
Batman. Black Mirror?
Francisco Francavilla.
Oh, dude, when they did those coffee shop, the color palette in the coffee shop conversations between Gordon and his son were so good. Oh my god.
And the first time you meet James Gordon Jr., you're like, I don't know what's up with this guy.
Yeah, you know something's wrong.
Something's up.
He went into the bathroom to purposefully fuck with his dad.
Yes.
Just to overflow that, and you're like, why would you do that?
Yes. Oh,
and then you slowly start to realize, oh, he's not well.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's also the book I found out that Barbara is not Jim Gordon's actual daughter.
Oh, is that where I did not know that.
Because Barbara Gordon is the daughter of the woman that Jim Gordon marries later.
Okay.
And James Gordon Jr., I believe, is from his first marriage that we see in year one.
Oh, so wait, Barbara is the daughter of, I can't remember, the blonde woman? Or is the blonde woman his first wife? I can't remember what it is. That must be a retcon, because, I don't remember that ever being true.
Yeah, no, they were alluding to that, and that was one of the big questions I wanted to talk to you about.
Yeah,
because I didn't know what that was.
There's always been a thing with James Gordon that he cheated on his first wife with his detective partner, and at some point.
Okay, well, that's his prerogative. I hope he gets his shit checked out.
Yeah, that must have been something that they changed at some point because everything I looked on Wikipedia, he is or she is his daughter.
Yes, because he is.
No, that Barbara is his daughter.
Yes.
The cop was Sarah Essen. That's who he cheated on. She's the blonde, and then his wife. I thought her name was Barbara as well.
Barbara Keene?
Yeah. Oh, okay, in year one, his brother and sister-in-law die, and he adopts his niece, Barbara.
Yeah, that could also be it.
That's the year one continuity.
Yeah, I think I just picked up a bunch of the year one books too.
Right? Because year one. Oh, year one. Yeah. Batman year one. Yeah, that's continuity, right?
Ish.
I hope so.
Everything is ish now.
Yeah, that's what I've noticed now that I'm trying to keep up with Batman.
Hey, hopefully this gets all cleared up after Doomsday Clock. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah, in 2025.
And Batgirl's a character that they retcon all of the time. She gets retconned so much because they still they
got
took
super retconned in that in the Killing Joke.
Yeah, well, Killing Joke was never supposed to be canon, but it became so popular that they kind of made it canon.
Okay.
And then they kind of never really explained in New 52, like, how she can walk again.
Yeah,
and like, oh, she went and got experimental surgery, and she has like a chip in her or some. She has like a giant scar or something.
Rad.
Yeah.
Scars. But after I finished Black Mirror, I went and got some of the earlier Batman stuff after the 52, like the Scott Snyder stuff. I got the Court of the Owls.
Ooh, that's awesome.
That was good. That book's good. I like seeing Batman's slow, inevitable descent into madness. That was done really well. Especially like starting the entire book with him fighting crime with a smile. That was real good. And then like, I don't know, 4 issues later, it's him drinking water and like freaking the fuck out. It was cool. I really enjoyed that. I read one of last year's best-selling comics, the Venom run by Donny Cates, I think it is. It was super fun. Donny Cates. It is all about like Eddie Brock dealing with the Venom symbiote's god coming to Earth, and like the SHIELD initiative actually using symbiotes in like the Vietnam War that they took off of a dragon symbiote that they call it the Grendel. It's fucking weird. It's really cool though. And it involves like symbiotes turning into people and taking consciousness, and they have like this weird they have like this ultra form that comes out when they're around this god creature that looks really cool. Like it manifests as this like weird black or red worm entity on the symbiote. It's really cool. And that was a lot of fun. I keep saying a lot of fun. And,
that's all right.
Yeah, well, I also got the collected volumes of Paper Girl, and Paper Girl is great.
Yeah, I have volume 1, and I just fell super behind on that book.
Yeah, I have volume 1 as well. It's very good. I feel like it's one of those books I have to really commit in the long run, because even though if you read the entirety of volume 1, it leaves a lot of unanswered questions more than there are answers. It keeps setting up big things. It just I haven't seen any of the payoff yet. There has been some smaller stuff to kind of keep you going, but none of the big stuff they keep setting up has been kind of explained yet. It always feels like it's just on the edge of, it's in the next issue, don't worry, it's right around the corner. But I enjoy the story enough, and the writing is pretty well done. I think it's, is it Vaughn? Brian K. Vaughan?
It's Brian K. Vaughan and Cliff Chang.
Yeah. Yeah, and I like the writing, so...
Connor, did you know that, according to Von Dingus, Menagerie is a ripoff of Venom?
No shit, really?
Yeah. She's satire, really. They created the character in the comics to like as a satire to Venom, but like it's the running joke on like the Phantom Zone thing of like the articles posting stuff that's completely horseshit.
Basically on Screen Rant and all related sites.
Just the eternal shit posting.
Yeah. Well, just like posting stuff that like if you did like 1 ounce of Googling, like you'd be like, oh,
that's not true.
What?
That's what?
Oh, that what they say is not true?
Yeah.
Yeah. If you basically Googled for a second, you'd figure out, oh, that's not like accurate. Yeah. All right.
That's pretty much the end of my list.
John, was there anything you wanted to bring up that you read?
Yeah. Let me grab my books here. Yeah, so I read a couple different mangas this weekend because I was late about the house, and I was like, man, I'm gonna like try and get some reading done. So I read volume 1 of Mob Psycho 100 from
oh, dude, I just started the anime. That's fucking wild.
Yeah,
I love it.
Show's good.
Dude, there's so many colors. The colors.
Yeah, how far are you?
Like episode 2. I watched it last night. My friend
Yeah.
wouldn't stop telling me to watch it, so I finally dug in.
Yeah, and season 2 is just so great. But yeah, so I picked up volume 1 of the manga, and I kind of flipped through it. It's basically the first 5 episodes of the anime in a book, but all the art's done by one, who is the artist and the writer for it. He's also the creator of One Punch Man. But like his art is just like really fun and kind of ugly. Uh, and it's kind of like the appeal of the show. Like I think I think Mob Psycho has like the most like kind of like almost like literal version of like his art in an anime form, where everything looks kind of simple, but like everything's so expressive.
Yeah, that's it's something special about like how simplistic he draws everything.
And yeah, it's fun. The second volume should be out next month. Um, and I'm kind of excited to see like kind of where it goes like in the manga, because I'm not really sure like how much season 2 is gonna do. I know that there's like a big hint in the end of the end theme for the show that basically hints at like how far it's gonna go, and people are like, "Oh my god, I can't believe they're gonna be doing this," and I'm like, "Oh hey, cool!" Like people seem to be excited. Like I'm glad. But yeah, I think like between reading Mob Psycho or watching Mob Psycho, I think watching Mob Psycho is still like kind of the better route.
Preferred way.
But you know, the book is still like pretty fun.
Okay.
I also read volume 5. Please tell me Galko-chan, which I talked about buying a couple weeks ago, and it's still really great. It's about 3 high schoolers named Galko, Otako, and Oju, and they're all like their names are puns off of like their personalities. Like Galko is named because she's like a gal, and she's like kind of into fashion and stuff. But while you know, while like kind of having like this like gal exterior, she's just like super nice and like a movie buff. Like her best friend's like this nerdy girl named Otaku.
Nice.
Who's all, and then like their third friend, Oju, is like kind of a big airhead, but she's like has like a bunch of different hobbies, and they all 3 of them just kind of pair off together. And each page is like one full comic. So it kind of like moves at this kind of like really nice brisk pace. At the end of a chapter, sometimes they'll have like a movie talk, which is like Galco watching a movie. So like there's like a little bit about her watching like Iron Giant or Hardcore Henry or like actual movies. And so it's like kind of funny to like hear these characters talk about like actual movies. Like there's a part where she's talking about Dunkirk. But the big kind of storyline for this volume is that Galco's sister, who you kind of see in the background every once in a while, and she'll like borrow her sister's uniform for like dates. And you get the feeling that she's like a college student. She's like, kind of a more worldly woman. And she ends up going on a date with Otako's brother, who's also like a huge nerd. And they like randomly met each other in the last volume, and this is them going out on a date, and it's like pretty funny. But it's also like kind of funny because like as like the volumes are going on, like you're seeing more and more characters like involved with the book. It's not just like them in the high school, but you also see like a couple of the mothers of some of the other students, or the older sisters or the younger sisters of like some of these other students, like all like dealing with like growing up and love and all this other stuff. And it's like a really fun book. I know I like recommended the anime on here a couple weeks ago. I don't know if anyone's like checked it out, but
I believe I added it to my Crunchyroll, so I'm going to go.
Yeah, no, I definitely have it there.
I think the anime is great, but like the book definitely goes further than what the anime did. So if you end up watching the anime on Crunchyroll and you're like, I want more of this in my life, you got 5 volumes of it.
Oh wow!
Tight. Okay, cool.
And the last
go on. Sorry. No, I was just gonna say like that's a good recommendation.
And the last book I read was My Brother's Husband, Volume 2. It's only going to be 2 volumes. This is kind of a cool book. It's written by Genroro Tagami, who is a huge like kind of name within the bara book industry. Bara is like kind of like a slang term for like gay porn involving like big beefy men, like big burly dudes.
Yeah, so like some bear
Bears.
stuff. Bear
Yeah.
shit.
But this is his first all age book. It got nominated for an Eisner last year.
Wow.
The first volume. He's like a pretty well renowned artist. And the book is pretty cool. The series is basically talking about the relationship between a single father named Yachi and his daughter Kana, and this foreigner named Mike, who's from Canada. And basically, Yaichi had a twin brother who came out as gay when they were like younger. And Yaichi like didn't like maybe necessarily kind of like deal with it in the right way. And Yaichi's brother moved away, went to Canada, ended up meeting this guy named Mike, ended up getting married, and his brother recently just passed away. So Mike is now coming to Japan to meet, his brother, or his husband's brother, who looks just like him. And the series is basically just focusing on the themes of like homophobia, cultural differences, family. It's pretty good, Mike also meets like a young boy in the neighborhood who's also like in the closet, and they have like a really good like conversation about coming out and like all that different stuff. It's the brother, like, the brother kind of deals with like maybe like the way he treated his brother, and like kind of come to terms like maybe he wasn't the best brother about the whole on thing. But I think it's good. It's a little spendy. Both volumes are $25, but they're like double, like kind of like double the size of regular manga books, and it's a hardcover, so you kind of get what you pay for. And like, yeah, it's like a really cool short read about a foreign man going to visit, his dead husband's brother, and the girl in the family is like super cute because she's just like this this young girl who's questioning everything that's kind of happening around her, and she just like lynches on the mic, and it's really fun and cute. It's great. It's a great book.
I like that. I'm gonna check that out. Just one last addition. You brought up manga, and that kind of triggered me. I started reading Promised Neverland, which I don't know. That one's it's a fun little. Jesus, I keep saying fun. It's a good book, a horror themed book about kids being made to like be eaten.
Yeah, I was gonna say there was a lot of things I've heard people describe Promised Neverland, and fun was not one of them.
Yeah, no, that's my fault as a person and not having a good lexicon. But it is a well written book. The art is really good. I can't tell you who the artist is off the top of my head. Much like normal, honestly, but it is really, really well done.
I'm looking it up. I'm looking it up now. It's written by Kayu Shirai, and it's illustrated by Posuka Demizu.
Yes, Demizu is very good with eyes. In my opinion, you can see where every character is kind of looking, and you can, when it does come to the shocks of the book, the horror elements, you do see like genuine horror in these characters' eyes. And in certain scenes, when you see like dead characters, you like with the glossy feel of it, it felt very expressive. And I've only read like the first chapter, volume, whatever, like 75 pages, and it's very good. Another book I picked up over the weekend.
Awesome. Was there any other books anybody wanted to talk about before we kind of jump into our side thing?
I can actually talk about like one more thing, and I'm not going to go super into it because I haven't read too much of it. But I picked up volume 1 of Uresai Yatsura, which was like one of the, if not the first, I think it was her first, but like super early on, Rumiko Tanahashi, who like went on then to create like Rama 1/2, Maison Nikoku, Inuyasha. And I got it in the mail, and like it's 2 volumes kind of put into one. And while I'm like really excited to read this, like I'm about like 15 pages in so far. Like I'm honestly like kind of like disappointed in like Viz's like version of this book. It's part of their signature line, so you kind of like hope that they would have like put a little bit more like oomph into it. But like the cover, it's like the cover's okay. The paper that they use for it is like kind of not great for the ink they use because it kind of bleeds a little bit. And then they like, it's like super obvious that they put 2 volumes into one, because like in the middle part they have like kind of like all the back matter stuff in the middle of the book. So it's just,
that's bad editing.
Yeah, so it's just like I'm excited for this. I know it's going to be good. Like my boss, I was talking to him about, he's like, this is my favorite manga of all time.
High praise.
So, and I mean, Rama 1/2 is just like got me into anime. It's kind of like the thing, like the basis of like everything I like about comics and anime and like that genre of stuff. Like I can all root back to Rama 1/2. Like Rama 1/2 is genius. So I know I'm gonna like it. But I kind of wish that they just put a little bit more effort into this. And that's it.
All right.
I like the sound of that.
So we had talked earlier in our chat, and I'm not sure how we want to do this, or if we want to give this a name eventually, but like kind of our like question, I guess, of this episode, or like kind of discussion topic is like talking about, I guess, some of the better or worse stories / characters that went from being heroes to villains. I guess either in a specific story, or I'm not sure if anybody's ever permanently done that. So, did anybody want to kick us off with like the one that popped into their head first? Because I had a couple that came to mind.
I have one for. I have a good one and a bad one.
Okay, well, the moment you asked that question, the only person I could think of was Cyclops. And how much I fucking hate him.
Yeah, that's actually, so I haven't read that story. I know of the story because that's the Phoenix 5 thing, right?
Yeah, I haven't read it, but I watched a visual comic essay on it, or whatever you want to call it. And he's a real piece of work, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, but no, it's kind of something they had been setting up for a while.
Yeah.
Has anybody read that book, Alan or John?
Avengers versus X-Men?
Yeah, the AVX and then into like the Phoenix 5 stuff when Cyclops goes like that guy.
I read like half of Avengers versus X-Men, and I thought that book was bad.
AVX is not good.
Yeah, I think that's like one of the, it's kind of when I popped this idea popped into my head, is like most of these stories, especially when it's an in-continuity character as opposed to like a future person coming in, like a version of them from the future. Like one of the examples I thought was like Maestro is like, although he is not the best character, but like sometimes he's done better because it's like kind of it's not the same Bruce, but it is Bruce. as opposed to like Cyclops turning bad. Sometimes doesn't work as much because you're like, well, then what have you been doing this entire time?
Yeah. I'm trying to think of some other heel turns like that. So,
Alan, you said you had one.
Yeah,
or you had two, right?
Alan has two.
I have one of someone. I have a good one and a bad one.
Okay, start with the bad one. Let's work our way up.
The bad one is 0 Hour.
Like
Alright,
a
immediately
character?
I have no idea what the hell that is.
The Hal Jordan turning into
Parallax.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, that was on
I
my
heard
list.
about that.
That was on my list of like good guys turning bad. Yeah.
Yeah, he turns into Parallax because Coast City gets destroyed, if I remember correctly.
By Cyborg Superman and Mongol.
Right.
My boy, Cyborg Superman.
Cyborg Superman. Oh.
I legit love Cyborg Superman.
And
I think he's cool. Sorry.
And then there's also within there's technically another one inside it, which is DC not being able to be honest with its fans.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that's the Extant. Or Monarch.
Oh, yeah. That's one we talked about before with the so that's your bad example, which is the
well, that's sort of like an additional.
Yeah, because Monarch is the one that we talked about before, where like they said, like, oh, it's going to be this. Somebody came from the future, but they were a hero in your time, and everyone's like, well, it's obviously Captain Atom, and they're like, no, it's Hawk. Totally Hawk. It's that guy. He has no powers really. And then they had to come out like a couple of years later and be like, yeah, everybody guessed it, so we kind of freaked out and made them change it because it makes no sense that it's Hawk. But yeah, the Hal Jordan one, like, I do think that kind of is a good one because like they played it really well, and he kind of stayed. Well, he was dead for a long time, and they didn't really fix it till after Rebirth. Like Rebirth kind of got rid of all that because at one point he was Parallax and the Spectre and Hal combined. I think like at the start of Rebirth or some craziness. So,
well, no, in 0 Hour, Green Arrow, all he has to be the one that it ends up killing Hal.
Oh, I think that's what makes him the Spectre after that.
Yeah.
And I think at the beginning of Rebirth, they kind of like, in order to defeat the Spectre, they like infect Hal with the Parallax again. Because there's some point in that story that it's like the three of them in one body, and it's ridiculous. But
yeah,
that
because
is a good one.
That's comic book bullshit. I'll tell you what.
It starts off with Black Hand trying to steal Hal's ring, and Oliver shows up to stop him, but Hal as a Spectre shows up, and if I'm not mistaken, he cuts Black Hand's hand off. It's been a while since I read Blackest Night, Rebirth.
Yeah. I think this kind of, that version ties into the one I thought of, which I'm actually surprised you didn't pick Alan, which was Superboy Prime.
Yeah, that guy sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know there's no way Connor's ever heard of this version of this character.
No, this is all fucking mumbo jumbo alien speak to me.
Superboy Prime.
It's Crisis on Infinite Earths. Then it's the debut in Crisis on Infinite Earths. Then the heel turn in Infinite Crisis.
Yeah. So he is a Superboy from a world where he, exactly like the normal Superman stuff, except there are no other heroes, and comic books exist in this world.
Okay.
So that's why he's Prime. So he's from the Prime Earth. So, and so he basically becomes like a Superman. And then when all the worlds, when the first one happens, he helps defeat everything. And then he ends up getting trapped in a side dimension. It's him.
Superman from Earth 2.
Yeah, so the older Superman with his Lois. It's just the three of them, I believe, right?
Yeah. And like, and when you say like that's Superman, like that's like Golden Age Superman. Like that's the Superman.
That's like the
like,
original. The tall buildings in a single bound.
Like he was like it's
the Siegel and Schuster Superman.
Like Superman is powerful. Superman of Earth 2 is like insanely powerful.
He's like a guy because he's like a like full prime. Like he is adult that's also lived with his powers for like he's like kind of what he's supposed to be like in his 50s or 60s.
Yeah, it's why.
So, but like he doesn't look that way. But
his like the Superman symbol on his chest is different than the one post Crisis.
Yes,
and like, he also has like graying in his hair.
Yeah, he has got like the Reed Richards thing going on.
Okay, he's got the salt and pepper.
Basically, they're sitting there, and of course, the two of them are kind of him and Lois are kind of fine because they have each other. But Superboy Prime is just like there,
and he has nothing.
And he has nothing, so he basically goes insane, and he like
punches a hole in reality.
He punches a hole in reality.
He like views like the heroes of not being worthy of being heroes, and like believes that he could be better than them, and so he like the thing.
Bunch of crazy shit.
He like ends up killing like half the Titans. Because he just kind of goes crazy. He punches Panther. He punches Panther's head off, and he rips Risk's arm off, and he's just like, "Oh, I just want to be a good guy." He sucks. He's a big baby.
And he ends up killing Anti-Monitor and like turning him into like an arm.
Yeah.
And he was supposed to. And he was if Dan Dio had his way, he would have ended up killing
Nightwing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he just like wrecks.
Instead,
everything.
He killed Connor Kent.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think doesn't it end where like the two other are like the Superman of this Earth and then that Superman of Earth 2 like beat him and then they like laser in the Superman symbol into his chest?
No, they beat him. They beat the shit out of him, and then like basically the Green Lanterns show up and they're like, "We'll put him in the like prison," and they put him in like a I don't know, like a sun prison that basically red sun prison, and then like the end of the comic is him like etching in the Superman logo on his chest because he's like hard. He's real hard.
Yeah. He's prison hard now.
He like, I think when Sinestro does something, he comes back and he becomes a Yellow Lantern.
Yeah,
as well.
Yeah, because they do the Sinestro Corps, and that's like the last like kind of like big reveal in a comic. I was just like, holy shit! And it's like Sinestro revealing who the Sinestro Corps like leaders are, and
yeah,
it's
like he's like the super ace in the card.
It's like Superboy Prime. It's the Anti-Monitor. It's like
Mongol.
Yeah, some other jack off. Like yeah, it's really cool, and it was like the last, and it led into the Sinestro Corps War, and it was like the last time I was interested in Jeff Johns' Green Lantern.
Okay, that sounds pretty fucking cool.
But basically, I love how his story ends. Though, it's like they end up sending him back to his Earth, and everyone's like, "You're a piece of shit," because in their world, everything he's done is in their comics, including the fact that he's from their world. It's really ridiculous.
Oh man, that sucks for him.
Yeah, I'll just read off his like the little blurb origin.
Okay, I'm looking at it now, and it was Sinestro, it was Superboy Prime, the Anti-Monitor, Parallax, and my boy Cyborg Superman.
Yes,
that's 2 Cyborg Superman references in one episode.
Who was Parallax in this book?
It was. I think it was Rainer.
Yeah,
it was probably Kyle Rayner.
Parallax was Kyle Rayner for like a hot minute.
Yeah, but I think this is also when Superboy Is this when Superboy kills Anti-Monitor and wears him as armor?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very
dude, that's cool as shit.
I have to find it's an interesting concept. It just so it started off cool, but then it became he became like this giant joke.
Yeah, There's like an issue where Superboy Prime like goes to the DC offices and like I forgot if he killed everyone there or not. But like that shit happened.
Yeah, I think that's after he gets returned to his world. But I thought they returned him at some point depowered.
Yeah, because I remember there's an issue with him during Blackest Night.
Oh yeah, he showed back up in Blackest Night.
Oh god, he was in Countdown. Oh god. I forgot all this.
Some images for you to look at, Connor.
Yeah, man. Let me see that shit.
They gave him a red ring at some point? Oh my god.
I'm not stupid. That is going to be my phone background now.
And this is him with the anti-monitor armor.
Yeah, that's cool as hell.
Yeah, because he's supposed to be like 17-ish, I think.
Yeah, he looks pretty young.
Yeah, so he's like Superboy Prime with a yellow ring and like the anti-monitor's armor on him.
Yeah.
And he's basically like a god level character.
Cool. I dig that.
Yeah, but he's a character that 100% was like, oh, he was an interesting good guy, like from like when they do those multiple Earths, then became like the biggest joke, like heel turn.
Okay. Okay, upon calling forth Superboy's victims, he teasingly reveals to him his impending death in Adventure Comics number 5. Unable to damage the Black Lanterns, Superboy Prime flies to the DC Comics building in New York and attempts to take revenge on the writers he believes made him the way he is. Before he can do so, Alexander Luthor teleports him to his basement and begins destroying his comic collection. Superboy Prime then accepts the hopelessness of his situation and willingly puts on a black ring, which wills him to die. However, the ring, reacting to his mixed emotions, switches between the powers of the emotional spectrum, resulting in a mixed burst light that eradicates the Black Lanterns and the ring itself.
What the fuck?
It was basically them being like, yeah, we know this guy sucks, so let's like give him some sort of an out.
What the fuck was...
Yeah.
God.
Oh.
He's like the quintessential, like, they did a heel turn and they're like, now what?
That's like the most cop-out ending, like, oh fuck guys, sorry, we don't know what we're doing here, let's just delete it all.
Who wrote this book? Because I remember this book and I was just like, what am I reading? Written by Sterling Gates and Jeff Johns.
Yeah, is that part of Blackest Night? So.
Oh boy.
John, did you have any that popped into your head? I have a bunch more like that we can.
Yeah, I actually like looked up a couple lists, like, and they brought up some good ones, like Catman, great.
Mm-hmm.
Like, great face turn. The Riddler, when he became like a detective and like tried going straight, and he was gonna solve crimes before Batman did, prove his superiority as a detective. Like,
that's awesome.
That Riddler is rad, and that's like in Paul Dini's like Detective Comics run. Emma Frost, great face turn.
Yeah.
You know, Magneto in that Claremont run's pretty good. Hawkeye is a pretty classic one.
Oh yeah, from the other,
Hawkeye,
other direction.
Pretty much a quintessential one.
Oh,
of those,
so you looked up the other way around, the heroes or the villains becoming heroes.
Yeah, you know, Otto Octavius for Superior Spider-Man.
Ooh, found a way to sneak that in.
You know, but I think possibly the best comics face turn, you know, if we're counting, you know, comics, is the Grinch, right?
Oh shit! We didn't even. Yeah, no.
Connor's mind is blown.
No, you're totally on the money there, John. It's it's the Grinch. Everybody celebrates it every year. Millions of people watch the greatest heel turn, or
face turn.
Face turn. I'm bad with wrestling, but you understand what I said.
Yeah, like that guy's heart grew 2 sizes that day.
Yeah, it broke the little thing that measured hearts. It's buck wild.
Well, if you're going face turn, then like if you want to include like you can include like half of Dragon Ball's like
Vegeta
characters.
Yeah, Vegeta, you're right.
Piccolo,
Piccolo,
Tenshin
Piccolo.
Han.
But yeah, Piccolo's a great face turn. Tenshin Han's great.
I haven't watched Super, but isn't like Cell a good guy at some point?
No. Frieza. So you're thinking
Frieza.
I'm thinking of Frieza.
They're kind of playing with.
Frieza doesn't turn face. Like Frieza helps out the good guys
when it suits him.
because it suits his needs.
Okay.
And his need is being alive.
That's a good point. He is all about self-preservation. Because being the most powerful thing in the universe.
I would say, like, if you're gonna in Super, the only character that kind of has a face turn is like Hit, but Hit's never really that much of a bad guy.
Yeah, like I don't really count Hit or
Beerus,
like Jiren
or
Kaflua as bad guys because they're just trying to save their own.
They're antagonists. They're not villains. Like Vegeta's a straight villain. Piccolo was like a hardcore villain, and Tenshin Han was also a hardcore villain.
Mm-hmm.
Although he was lesser than the other two. But yeah, like I don't know, the face turn, there are definitely some good ones out there. I feel like the heel turns are just usually like worse and they're done so poorly.
Yeah, like I'm looking at a list of like heel turns and the
big one was like a couple of years ago, that Captain America one.
Yeah, Captain America sucks. Like Onslaught sucks. Maxwell Lord becoming a bad guy sucks.
Oh god, I forgot about Onslaught and Maxwell Lord.
Like that year that Havoc was a bad guy was bad.
Like just to leave Maxwell.
That year that Superior Iron Man happened, that was bad.
Wait, what's Superior Iron Man?
It was an Axis thing. It doesn't matter. No one gives a shit.
But Maxwell Lord is hilarious because he's kind of like in DC continuity permanently because of like what transpired.
Oh, with him and Diana.
Yeah, with him and Diana and him and Ted Kord. So basically, he was like the kid that hung out with the Justice League, kind of a thing. But he's like super smart.
He was the designated regular human being at the table.
But he doesn't like go out with them. He like kind of hangs at the Hall of Justice. And then it's basically revealed, like, Ted Kord, the second Blue Beetle, but, like, the one that people mostly refer to as, like, the original. He is so he figures out that Maxwell Lord is, like, a bad guy, and then Maxwell Lord shoots him and kills him.
Gnarly!
Yeah, shoots him in the head, kills him. Diana, Wonder Woman snaps his neck.
Yeah, she spins his head around. Yeah.
But here's the thing, and people will like dog on like a lot of like really dark stuff happening in DC and like super out of character. Like
it was not out of character.
Wonder Woman broke Maxwell Lord's neck because he was mind controlling Superman, and he was gonna have Superman like do some really awful shit. And he's like the only way you're gonna be able to stop him is if you killed me. And Wonder Woman just basically walked up to him and broke his neck. Superman's like, what did you do? And she's like, what? Like, how am I going to stop you? Like, come on.
I mean, that makes sense. It's Superman.
Yeah, he has like some like limited psychic abilities. They've brought him back here and again. He was around the last time like Eclipso was around. He was in the first season of Supergirl. But, like, he's kind of like a Lex with, like, some psychic ability.
He was also in, he was a main character in the OMAC book when New 52 first launched.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's a weird character that they can never kind of figure out what to do with. Because they had him as, like, the head of Checkmate for a while, which is kind of like...
a spy.
Yeah.
Or not SHIELD. Or sort of like the FBI, CIA.
Yeah. So, but he had an interesting heel turn. But, like, his heel turn kind of, like, has, like, ongoing ramifications. Like, they still bring up the fact that, like, people remember that he killed Ted Kord. And stuff like that. I don't know. He's interesting. But there are some I'm trying to remember what some of the other ones.
Jean Loring is a bad heel turn.
Oh yeah, that's the identity crisis that we've explained, Connor. Jean Loring.
Yeah.
Ray Palmer's ex-wife who just wanted attention.
Right.
Yeah. The one I'm surprised you didn't bring up is Alex from Runaways.
Oh, I forgot about him. That was a good one. That was good. Yeah, because they subtly hint at it over the course of a year, which is
that's when it works the best, when it's a long con.
That's kind of
And it's still kind of happening. The main Runaways can't trust him, and he's you get the feeling he really, he came back. You get the feeling that he kind of really does care for the group, but it's just he does it all the wrong ways.
That kind of sounds like Alex, honestly. Just as his character as a whole, he was very secretive to a degree, and that was kind of his idea of helping. You just didn't need to know what he was doing for you. But I can't speak to what he's doing right now because, the question I asked previously, I didn't even know he was alive again.
Yeah, he got brought back, in Power Man Iron Fist. The
final issue.
No, it was the final arc.
Yeah.
With Kev Walker or Dave Walker and
Sanford Green.
And that book is super rad. But he's been in the last arc and a half of the Rainbow Rowell Krisanka Runaways, and he's great.
Okay, I'll check it out. I need to catch up with the Runaways because I really did like what I was reading of them. I just need to find more of the volumes because it's hard to find in shitty bookstores in the middle of bumfuck Canada towns.
Well, you have the apps and stuff, but I guess you have issues with those too, right?
I have to pay a premium. I keep a tally of all the comic books that you guys mention and that I eventually do pick up. Right now, I'm sitting at, I should say, $60 worth of comics. And they're just mostly single issues because they are expensive here.
There are ways that you can read, and then when you have a chance to go and buy and support.
Oh, absolutely. I buy almost everything through Comixology on sale. They're having a huge Batman sale right now, so I'm grabbing a bunch of that stuff. And
because we're a month away from Detective 1000.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yep. I found a list of.
I was actually really excited for this week because I was like, oh god, nothing's coming out. Does Detective come out this week? Because that'd be actually really good. And it was oh no.
Yeah, this week is $9.99.
$9.99.
Because I know Detective comes out a week where all my other books come out, and I'm just going to be
Yeah, this is the heavier week for me too. I found the list of some other heel turns.
Can I just say mine?
Yes, we kind of just tangentially went off of Alan's.
One that is finish. It sort of starts off the series with the hero turning bad. And that's irredeemable. The Plutonian.
Oh yes, that was a bunch of the list I saw.
I don't know about that because the whole series is about this Superman character turning bad, but the only context you have is him being a bad guy. It's not
it's shown throughout in flashbacks, what he saves a plane from crashing into a stadium, a baseball stadium, and he hears all the back everything, people saying, him showing off, or just people just being dipshits.
Yeah, I would put that in the same category as Ozymandias. I can never say that name right. Ozymandias in Watchmen.
Actually, that was somebody I was going to bring up.
I don't
Ozymandias and I guess Dr. Manhattan to a degree as well.
Yeah, I don't know if that's a heel turn because he's kind of
that's why I said to a degree, because he's always kind of gray, even throughout the entirety of the story. Like when shit gets heavy, he's like, "Nah, I'm going to Mars. Fuck you guys."
Yeah, and both of them. Oh, sorry, John.
Well, and then I was gonna say, if you're bringing up like Irredeemable, I mean, I think the better version of that book
is Incorruptible.
Is Incorruptible with max damage and jailbait.
Jailbait?
Yeah.
Jailbait's like this girl that hangs around with max damage. But like max damage was like the villain to the Plutonian, and his power,
they sort of switch places.
And max damage has like a really cool power where it's like the longer he stays awake, the more powerful he becomes. But if he falls asleep for even like a second, like he goes back down to 0.
Oh, interesting. Because at some point he would just kind of go crazy from sleep deprivation.
Yeah.
There are a couple other ones I found in a list. One we've talked about before, but not tonight, is Terra.
Yeah.
The Judas contract. I put that as
Yeah.
It was good the first time.
Did we not talk about it here?
We've talked about that on other episodes, but not here.
And we've also talked about it on Legion of 10.
Yeah, because I know I talked about it with at least Alan and...
yeah, we brought it up.
At least Alan.
Yes. I'm looking through... One of the other ones is Scarlet Witch from Avengers Disassembled. I don't know if that's a heel turn. That's when basically, like, right before House of M starts, when she just, like, lost her shit and uses her magic to kind of, like... But it's, like, kind of not... Like, she's not actively doing it. She just is kind of crazy and lost control of her abilities.
Who is this?
Scarlet Witch. Like, right...
Yeah. I mean, like, on the DC flip side, you also have the Enchantress, but, like, that's also, like, using too much magic and she becomes the bad witch.
Yeah. One of the other ones I saw that was like, oh, I kind of get it, but it's also, like, is Winter Soldier. But, like, you're going from Bucky in... I don't know, was that like the 40s?
Yeah, in the 40s.
It's a heel. It's a heel turn face turn.
It's a double turn. Like,
it's a 360. It's an Xbox 360.
The Winter Soldier is a great heel turn, and then Bucky like
the better face turn.
And then it's a great face turn. Like,
it's a great redemption arc.
Yeah, man. The Winter Soldier is like I remember like when I was a kid reading comics and people were just like, you don't bring back Bucky and you don't bring back Uncle Ben, and it's like those are like the two like big things in Marvel.
And Barry,
they said to be it was Bucky, Barry, Uncle Ben,
Gwen Stacy,
the Waynes, and Jason Todd, and then they brought back most of those people except
everyone except the Waynes and Uncle Ben.
Yeah.
I mean, Thomas is running around right now, so... But, it's like, they brought back Gwen as Spider-Gwen, and she's great, and the Winter Soldier is great.
And Red Hood's been great at times.
I mean, under the Red Hood was
teams.
Great.
Yes,
depending on who writes him.
Movie, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Anything by Scott Lobdell? Garbage.
Yeah. The other one I see here, which is hilarious because the comics for this were terrible, but the Injustice Superman. Yeah, that's
Injustice is like a whole count because everybody kind of turns, whether it be a villain or a hero.
The first year of it, like his turn, like because you start the game and he's already turned.
Yeah, it's 5 years in.
Yeah, was it season 1 or year 1 of the comics?
Year one, yeah.
You actually get to see what happens and like how the whole thing happens. Because really the heel turn in it is Wonder Woman. Because Wonder Woman's the one who kind of gets all this shit rolling because she's an asshole in this universe. And she just plays on Superman's like complete and utter devastated like mind about what happened. But I don't know, I'm trying to think if there's like any other ones that are like even interesting. Oh god, this list has Ultimate Black Widow, but I hate talking about the Ultimate Universe.
Yeah, I think that's why they fucking blew it up.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Yeah. Ultimate Black Widow sucks.
Yeah, I keep seeing people put like Jean Grey, Dark Phoenix, but that's like they're kind of separate characters in many ways.
She was possessed, I guess. Like that's by the celestial Phoenix Force.
It's like it's not really Jean. It's like a thing using Jean's body.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think we covered most of like the good ones. Like I have mixed feelings on the Captain America
Loki.
thing.
Yep.
Oh,
that's a great face turn. Yeah.
Yeah, he sacrifices himself in Siege. Then he like becomes a young boy.
There's a bunch of different. There's a bunch of different stories of Loki doing.
For a while too.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different stories with Loki doing a face turn because he does a face turn in is it Earth X? The what's his name that did all the art for that?
Alex Ross.
Yeah. And like Loki towards the end of that becomes like he's leading the Avengers. At the end of that. But that's like a weird like book. But it's awesome. But I think we kind of did a fairly good job. It was like our first time doing like a kind of a
hypothetical section.
Yeah, or like a kind of like a mini discussion.
I think I have one. But it could be wrong based on the circumstances.
Spill the beans.
And that's Captain Marvel. And by Captain Marvel, I mean Billy Batson.
Oh, I thought you were doing like Captain Marvel.
No, that was character assassination by Brian Michael Bendis.
Yeah, they really did fuck up a lot of characters there. Man, they really fucked up Hawkeye.
I don't remember. So wait, you're talking about like the Shazam Captain Marvel?
Except the only thing is it's in one book.
I don't remember him turning bad.
Kingdom Come.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that came out that's true. But that's like a whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, then again,
like it, though.
Then again, it could be argued that technically it wasn't him because Lex Luthor was brainwashing him over the years, over the decades.
Yeah, because he has the earworm thing too. But I think we got much. We can always. I think this is something cool to do for episodes to kind of bring up a topic that we can like kind of go off on a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess there's another one. I'm blanking on it, but there are two brothers. One is sort of jealous of the other brother. And
Cain and Abel, that was from the Bible.
No. He gets the envious brother gets superpowers. Turns evil, turns bad. His friend ends up turning into like a millionaire based off like a book he writes about the guy.
Oh, I have no idea what this is.
I remember watching it on iFanboy a long time ago.
Oh. Yeah, I was not sure.
Another book is The Mighty by Pete Tomasi and Keith Champagne.
Yeah, I remember that book, and for the life of me, I was like, why is this book being published by DC and not Vertigo?
Yeah.
Because that was like around the time where like if you put a certain book under Vertigo, like it would sell like hotcakes. But if you put a book like it was just like Vertigo people bought Vertigo stuff, DC people bought DC stuff, and like they put the Mighty under DC because it was superhero stuff, but it was like the content of it was like completely Vertigo, and there was like no other things that like tethered it to DC. And so it's just like, man, like people would love this book if it was published by Vertigo.
Honestly, I just want to see the book published again. Or not published again, but come back back in print.
Like a reprint?
Yeah.
All right. So why don't we all quickly go over what we're going to be picking up this week, and then quick round of plugs. In about 2 hours.
Sure. Yeah.
Connor, why don't you start us off?
Okay. First up, I'm gonna absolutely be picking up Age of X-Men Extremists tomorrow. That goes without question. That book looks amazing. Other than that, I'm gonna probably pick up like Old Guard, just a bunch of old stuff. And Comixology is doing like a huge image sale right now, so I can buy like a bunch of first issues for like $3. So I'm grabbing like Oblivion Song, Descender, East of West, Skyward, Gideon Falls, just a bunch of smaller stuff like that. Because I'm waiting for like Alien to come out, The Batman Who Laughs, and because I just caught up on that as well. That was very good.
Okay, you should write that down, and we can talk about it next week.
Absolutely, because that last page, dude, yes. That was cool as shit.
We could spend a whole time. Well, that kind of could have tied into this a little bit, but
it could have. But I want to see where it goes. That's why I didn't bring it up. But other than that, yeah, I'm not picking up anything new because nothing I'm interested right now is coming out.
All right.
Yeah.
John?
I'll be picking up that Age of X-Men book. I also will be picking up Man-Eaters number 6, Amazing Spider-Man number 16, The Road to Hunted, and West Coast Avengers number 8. Because, hey, it's a good book, and, gonna try and enjoy it until it gets canceled.
Yep. All right, Al?
Among others, or mainly, I have basically 3 that I'm excited for. Shazam issue 3, Star Trek The Q Conflict issue 2, and the latest issue of Freedom Fighters.
All right. I actually did not read the second issue. I'll have to pick
it's
that
good.
up. Yeah, I will be picking up Martian Manhunter number 3. I am loving that book. Absolutely. DC 999. And then I will I think this Flash is the last issue of the Price storyline with him and Batman. And then I'll pick up Batman Beyond and Heroes in Crisis number 6. So I think there's only 2 issues after that. So I think it's 8. So, yeah, this is a bigger week for me. And then I guess we can now do quick round of plugs, guys. Connor, why don't you start us off again?
Cool. I am on Twitter at System Monitor. Or no. Jesus, I'm so used to saying that. No, I'm Question Connor on Twitter now. Send me questions.
Are you having a identity crisis?
I'm having a questionable time, my friend. You can follow me on Instagram at maybe_Connor. I tell you in new and unique ways every morning or whenever I wake up to brush your teeth. And remember, oral care is very important.
No, you should not be telling that to.
Who?
Fucking Superboy Prime.
No, I will make that tomorrow's message. If everybody except Superboy Prime, brush your teeth. Other than that, I am a writer at losthorrowgame.wordpress.com. Ha! Suck it, Alan.
I was just about to yell at you.
Yeah, no, I caught myself there last second. I will eventually have a thought piece on Kingdom Hearts 3 because everybody has a review out for it now, and I have some feelings about the series and the third game especially.
Is it the third game as in the number 3 or the third one overall in the series?
No, it's I think it's like the 9th or 10th overall. Like if we're just counting games, not the Flash games or the visual novels.
It's just hilarious, like how.
Because I'll tell you what, man. I know it all. I went through and I watched playthroughs. I read the wikis. I know the whole series. Sadly,
you have to find.
Did you watch the Polygon video about Kingdom Hearts?
Oh, absolutely.
Where he's like, "What do you do when you are trying to enact your evil plan? You Norda boy."
You narda boy. Yeah, man. Brian, or is that Gil? Whoever that is, he's a brilliant man, and I watch every one of his like weird educational videos on video games.
Like
everybody needs to go watch who the who the sexiest Castlevania character is, and he does it factually, which is very important.
Yeah, I love his the hierarchy of the Bowser military.
Yes, that's his latest one, and it is fantastic. I'm pulling it up right now here.
He also ranks all the robot masters from most to least useful, and it's great.
Yeah, he just has like these hyper-specific, also the Zelda timeline in 15 minutes. Yeah, Brian David Gilbert, go look him up. He is a very funny man, and he does very informative, important journalism. But that's it for my plugs.
John?
You can find me at John_FN_Siler. Where you can see me arguing with other comic book professionals about people's bad taste in waifus of Rama 1/2, or me suddenly remembering on my trip home from today that, hey, remember at E3 last year where they unveiled that Funko Pop's Gears of War game?
Yeah, I did.
Like, that was a thought that crossed my mind today on my ride home.
Yep.
But yeah, that's the kind of stuff you can see me post on Twitter.
Informative content, again.
All right. You can catch me, Alan, and John. We have been doing Legion of Toon. That's every Thursday on Los Haro, the podcast Empire. And we will hopefully be getting out Prince of Egypt for this week. And then every Tuesday, me and Al do Smallville Chronicles. We just kicked off season 3. And Al, you have another podcast on Los Haro, right?
Yeah, Los Haro Games podcast, where it's myself, Emma Watkins Jr., consummate professional hunter Davenport.
Thank you for the proper title.
He sometimes comes in because, as he said yesterday on Phantom Zone, he's doing stuff.
Yeah, man, every time I've podcasted with that dude, he's fallen asleep. He's always busy.
I have legit been on a podcast where he fell asleep.
Right? It's a thing. It's not just me.
Latest episode was myself and Josh Miller, where we talked about dreams. And
do you dream? Do you dream?
No, I only nightmare.
Nice.
We talked about the dreams, or we talked about how Dreams is having an early access type of release.
Yeah, that's the fall, isn't it? Or early spring? I realize that's a time distance, but my brain's fucked up.
Yeah, and how you could how you could possibly, if you're lucky enough, you can get it for half off.
Ooh, fancy.
And the possibility of Xbox titles or Microsoft titles ending up on Nintendo platforms.
God, I just want Killer Instinct to be on my Nintendo Switch.
Oh man, I really want Ori. I want to play Ori in the
and Cuphead.
Ooh, yeah, Cuphead. Yeah. Let me play that again.
Ori and Cuphead were the ones that we talked about heavily.
Yeah, those are two of my favorite games on Xbox. The two exclusives.
And for the first time, it's actually our shortest episode since. Well, actually, I think it's just simply our short. No, it's our short. It's our shortest episode since episode 7. So over 11 episodes.
Awesome. All right. Is that it, Al?
Yeah, that's it.
All right. So we will catch you guys next week. And adios.
I love you.
Don't let your waifu be shampoo. She's the worst.